Alrighty, Statesville, North Carolina, 30 minutes from everywhere and growing rapidly. Let's get into the pros and cons of living in Statesville, North Carolina. If you're new to the channel, my name is Austin and I make videos about what it is like to live in or move to the Lake Norman area, North Carolina. So with that being said, let's get into our first pro. So for pro number one for me is that Statesville still has that southern charm to it. Now, all these areas around Lake Norman have received a tremendous amount of growth over the last 15 to 20 years. But something about Statesville's downtown still has this old red brick southern style commercial feel to it. And it's not just the commercial space as well. There are a ton of classic Victorian style homes within the city limits of Statesville. And you're also gonna see a lot of mid-century modern homes as well. Now that southern rapid charm has been experiencing a lot of competition in terms of the growth that Statesville has been experiencing. There are a ton of people that have been moving down here and Statesville has had to grow to meet those demands. All right, let's get into our next pro, and that is that Statesville is 30 minutes from everywhere. Now, what I mean by that is that Statesville is a great centrally located community for commuters. You're about 35 to 40 minutes from Winston-Salem, 30 minutes to Hickory, 30 minutes down to Mooresville or Davidson, depending on the traffic. So if you wanted to live a little bit further outside of the city, Statesville is that prime location for you. Now, if you do need to commute down to Charlotte, it will take you about 45 minutes on a good day, depending on the traffic. And you may want to consider taking that toll road, but that toll road does get pretty pricey during those rush hour times. If you're heading up to Winston-Salem, it's actually not too bad. It's only about 35, 40 minutes, just highway traffic. You're not really going to see a lot of rush hour traffic going to and from Winston either. And on top of that good location, Statesville does offer some shopping as well. You have a lot of local restaurants, grocery stores, and even a couple of good local hotspots like Wild Walk and Sorrento's, two of my favorite places to go and eat. All right, let's get into our next pro, and that is that Statesville is a very vibrant and growing community that does host a lot of community events as well. So Statesville is home to the Carolina Balloon Fest, and that Balloon Fest attracts thousands of visitors every year. It's pretty cool for the Balloon Fest. You're gonna see a lot of hot air balloons just floating around town, and it's a pretty cool sight to see. On top of that, Statesville has farmers markets. They host other events too, like Adult Field Day. Arbor Day is a great time as well. They even do Movie in the Park, as well as a summer concert series, which are all great things to bring out the family to, or go hang out with your friends. Another cool thing to do is the 4th of July parade, and during the Christmas holiday season, all of the trees through that historic, charming downtown that we spoke about a minute ago, they light all those trees up, so it's great festive holiday spirit. All right, let's get into our next pro, and that is that Statesville has a better cost of living in comparison to its neighboring towns along Lake Norman and I-77. So because of Statesville's location, about 45 minutes outside of Charlotte going north on I-77, you're gonna see more affordable housing just because it is farther away from the city. Now it is affordable because there are a lot of new home builders here in Statesville that are keeping the supply pretty high. And as a resident of Statesville myself, I can vouch that the utility bills are usually pretty low. In summer, you might see it top around $250 on a really hot month. And in the winter, you're really only gonna see it go up to about $150 to $200 a month. So you're gonna see a lot of new construction in Statesville, and those homes are typically in the $300,000 to $400,000 range. They're still actively building, but if you are looking for those southern charm Victorian homes, there is limited supply that is available. All right, let's get to our last pro, and that is Statesville's proximity to recreation. All right, so Statesville, again, 30 minutes from everything that you need as far as shopping and amenities, but Statesville also does have a great trail system that runs through the center of town. You're gonna see a lot of different trails that connect to different parks Statesville has a massive soccer complex that also has a few playgrounds in it as well. There are several other fun amenities to do outdoors in Statesville, like the pickleball courts at Caldwell Park. You also have several tennis courts there at Caldwell Park as well. And we can't forget how close Statesville is to Lake Norman State Park. It only takes you about 10-15 minutes to get down to Lake Norman State Park from Statesville. And there you have access to a whole array of different things to do outside, like walking trails, running trails, mountain biking. You have access to fishing piers. You have a sand beach that you have access to as well. And in the summer, Lake Norman State Park is a fantastic place to go hiking because of all the trees. Now, it may be 95 degrees on that hot summer day, but when you're out hitting one of those trails at Lake Norman State Park, it does feel a lot cooler because of that canopy above you. So Lake Norman State Park is a great place to go, grab some shade, maybe have a picnic with the family, go fishing, and it's only 15 minutes from Statesville. All right, let's get into our first con, and that is that Statesville has a limited nightlife scene. Now, there are a few bars in downtown Statesville, and there are a few other pubs just around the outside of town, but there really isn't like a centrally located place for everyone to go and hang out. If you're looking for clubs, you're gonna have to go a good distance down to either Charlotte or up to Winston. Now, I will add that Statesville does do the summer concert series, and they do the movie night in the park, but these are still just seasonal events that do occur in Statesville, and they're not year-round attractions. So if you're looking for those fun things to do with the kiddos or to go and hang out with your friends, you might want to take a look at other areas like going down to Mooresville or even all the way down to Charlotte, west to Hickory, or northeast to Winston. All right, our next con is going to be the traffic congestion in Statesville. Now, you may be wondering, Statesville is 30 minutes from everything. It's 45 minutes from Charlotte, 40 minutes from Winston. What traffic could there possibly be? And the traffic that we actually have is because of the growing population. Now, during rush hour, you will see the traffic down to Charlotte is pretty bad. All right, by the time you leave Statesville and get down to Mooresville, typically about 25 minutes, you're going to start seeing that traffic build up on I-77. And from there, it could be a nightmare to try to get into Charlotte, which is why I encourage you to get that toll pass. And on top of that, rush hour along the west side of Statesville, closer to where the Walmart and a lot of our restaurants are, you will see a lot of traffic around that area during rush hour. And that typically usually lasts about an hour, hour and a half. And that area during the day can still get pretty busy as well. So in my opinion, the rapid growth for Statesville is fantastic, but there are some challenges as far as the infrastructure goes. So if you do plan on being a commuter living in Statesville and commuting to one of those bigger cities, I would just count for a little bit more time during your average daily commutes. All right, y'all, as much as I love making these videos, I am a real estate broker in the state of North Carolina. So that number that's popping up, I am the person that's going to answer those phone calls, text messages, and emails. So if you have any real estate needs at all, I'd love to help you. But with that being said, let's get back into the video. All right, let's get into our next con, and that is that Statesville has fewer luxury amenities. And what I mean by that is that if you're looking for like a high-end gym, high-end shopping, luxury spas, you are not going to find that in Statesville. Now, you'd be better off looking down in like the Huntersville, Davidson area, or if you're looking for that spa, you can even go west over to Conover near the Rock Barn. But you're not going to find that in Statesville. What you are going to find in Statesville as far as shopping goes, mainly is just a Walmart in Statesville and a lot of other restaurants. But if you really need anything more than that, you're going to find yourself probably traveling down to Mooresville or going west to Hickory. I'm gonna jump into my last con, and for me, that is that Statesville is very car dependent. Now, if you're looking for an area that is walkable, you're not gonna find that in Statesville. You will need a car to get to just about everywhere, as Statesville actually is a pretty big city as far as land volume goes. That downtown area is a big bit a ways away from the areas that offer a lot of other restaurants and your shopping, like Walmart. Now, the downtown area does offer some restaurants and bars, but if you are looking for more of a variety, you're gonna have to drive a little bit west of Statesville to the Turnersburg Highway area, where there is a lot more restaurants for you. And again, what I've been saying in the video, Statesville is 30 minutes from everywhere, and that is by car. All right, if you wanted to go to Hickory or Winston or down to Mooresville or even all the way down to Charlotte, you are going to need a car to get to these places. All right, so that is going to be the pros and cons of living in Statesville, North Carolina. If you got some value out of this video, please consider liking and subscribing. And I did want to mention again, I am a licensed real estate broker in the state of North Carolina. So as much as I do love making these videos, I'd love to help you with any of those real estate needs that you may have. So that number that's popping up below, I am going to be the person that's going to answer those emails, text messages, and phone calls. And we'll see you in the next one.